Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Cathryn-Olivia Property. My name's Catherine and I'm 25 years old and I'm based down south in the UK, even though I'm a northerner at heart. I spend every day helping normal everyday people grow their wealth through property investment. Today I'm going to show you exactly why I founded COA Investments, and for anyone who's watching either brand new to property, you may have followed me on social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, you might want to know a little bit more about my background journey, why I do what we do, how I can help you, things like what we offer, anything like that, then this is the video to keep watching, and I can't wait to get to know you as well. Just drop me a comment saying who you are, where you're from, and I'll pop you a message. We can get in touch. So I wanted to welcome you to my world and start with how my journey began in property, but also take you back to 8 years ago, 8 years ago, when I was 18 years old and my whole life had turned on its head completely 180 degrees and nothing has ever been the same since. And it's the reason why I do what I do, and I help other people today better their livelihoods through property. Like, property is the vehicle for what my purpose, what I believe my mission and purpose on this earth is to do. So flashback 2018, I was about to sit my A-level exams. So if you don't know what A-levels are, they're basically just qualifications that you take in the UK education system. That means you can apply for university, it gives you a better chance of applying for jobs, things like that. And I was, at the time, what was I doing? I was doing like, firstly, subjects I just didn't enjoy, like biology, chemistry, Latin. I've always been an absolute nerd for like the ancient world and Latin, Greece, things like that, and maths, I believe. So pretty hardcore. And I literally found myself homeless, very unexpectedly, very suddenly, very abruptly. Even just talking about it makes my heart pound a bit. One second. So I found myself in a situation where I was completely homeless. There was no one there coming to save me. I was my own knight in shining armour. And obviously, being very young, I was at an age where I was told by the school I was at the time, oh, if only you were a minor. Like, yeah, it wasn't great. And I found myself in a situation where I knew that I had to do something or I was going to be swallowed up. And so I found myself in that summer, I got all the work I could. I worked part-time, I worked full-time. I remember raising my first £1,000 in GBP. I was like, oh, I've done it. I've raised my first 1,000. And obviously that was, I traded the time that I would have spent my A-levels, because obviously I needed somewhere to live, I needed to eat, needed to survive. I traded all that time, probably a good 3 months of my life, 4 months of my 18-year-old life, working the most menial jobs that I could. I remember working in a bar club on nights. I would get like 4 hours, 3 hours sleep to then work first thing crack of dawn in a outdoor clothing shop. So that was where I spent my summer, and then I learned the art of cold calling, which, if you know, in a business, it's something that generates you leads. Something I'll save for another video, but if you're doing that and you're a business owner, you probably want to outsource that, because there are better tasks that could be more high income generating for you, but that's another video for another time. So the road that I was currently on of just needing to survive, suddenly I had a decision to make. And I could either stay what I was doing, just working, carrying on until I eventually rented somewhere instead of staying at friends' houses, or I could apply and get my education, so get my A-levels, and then go down uni, get a job, and go down that path, which was more secure, or I thought was secure at the time. And so I took that path and I started by cold calling all my time outside of work. I would study, I would call all the schools in the area. Bearing in mind this was an area I did not know anything about, completely brand new to me. And eventually one day, even though I was so just to the point of, you know what, if I don't hear anything, it doesn't matter. One day I had a response back, landed a 100% scholarship to a school that accepted me, accepted my story and what I'd been through, and also knew that, well, also invested in me. And a year later, I landed a place at the University of Cambridge to study classics. So if you don't know what that is, basically ancient Latin, Greek, learning about the Romans, the ancient world, ancient civilization, art and architecture, philosophy, all of that good stuff, Plato, Aristotle, and oh, I love it so much. And I spent 3 years doing that after getting my A-levels, which I can link the article below. I actually ended up getting 3 A stars in, and the rest was history. 3 years at Cambridge whizzed by, but during that time, I found out something absolutely life-changing. A family member of mine, actually really close to me, they actually were the ones who introduced me to property, and I will be forever grateful to this day. So in COVID, as you know, there was a lot of time, as a uni student in COVID, there was a lot of time where we spent in accommodation. I remember we were put into a pool of like 5 people in our household, and we couldn't touch, like we couldn't be in the same room as each other, we couldn't shake hands or anything. So a lot of the students were sent away. So obviously, as a student living full-time in uni halls, I had a lot of time on my own. It was very isolating, but honestly, I know a lot of people had it worse, so I'm just fortunate that I was able to, in that time, stumble across property and property investment and just entrepreneurship in general. So I remember thinking, this isn't my future. Like, I don't know much about property. I've always just thought like, oh, Monopoly, or it's just like one of those things like banking, or I know I was a student who was there to enjoy, like I went to Cambridge to study what I loved. I didn't have like an end goal, especially with my situation. There was no vocation that I was looking to do. I was just living life because I knew what I thought I knew what I wanted, but actually that ended up leading me to somewhere else, which was property. Now, a seed got planted in my head in my first year, and that was the case that property can get you 3 things. And that is time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. And given everything that I had endured / was enduring of supporting myself when the holidays came, you know, everything had to be like, right, how could, like, my priority wasn't just, oh, right, how can I prepare academically to get ahead for next term? My priorities were, how can I make sure that my budget is in place to support me so that I can eat enough so that I can survive? And then it was about academics. Like, that for me was a huge part of my whole uni journey. And obviously, I'm saying all this, I'm very, very grateful for the support and everything I've been through. But for me, that was life-changing. And that was, fast forward a year later, during the midway of my degree, I actually ended up securing my first deal, selling it. So I got started with the rent-to-rent strategy in property, which for me, that was not about the sale at all. That was about the proof of concept. Even though for me, even when I told my friends, the commission was just like, that's ridiculous. You got that from one deal. That's someone's monthly paycheck. So that was absolutely life-changing. And then, yeah, from there, it was a big like green light for me, just flashing, saying, this is your path. Carry on, at least. So yeah, I just carried on. I've been in property for 4 years now, 4.5 since 2021. And I was, after I graduated, I literally remember getting the flu. And again, I wasn't in my own home. I was staying with friends and lovely, loyal people who, to this day, I am so grateful for. And I send you all my love watching this if you are. And I literally got hit with the flu, because what happens after you graduate, after Cambridge, like my whole body just went to shutdown, and because I knew I wasn't taking exams and I wasn't on the move. But 2 days later, I had took the weekend off. Then on the Monday, I cracked down. I built myself, I say this as if it was an overnight thing, it really flipping wasn't. And I built myself my own client base, investor base. I reached out, I sent as many voice notes as I could. Croaky voice, coughing, like, excuse me, sorry, just got a bit of a cough, I'm on the move. No, I was in my hoodie, in my Cambridge gear, just wrapped up with trackies on, and building out my client base with sheer confidence that I knew this was going to work. You know, I've had so many times, why don't you just get a proper job? I've even felt like, no one's actually said this to me, but I felt like I've had the impression from maybe some people that, oh, it's a bit of a waste considering, you know, the scholarship, going to Cambridge, like, why didn't you just go and get a real good corporate career? Because for me, that's not what speaks to my heart, and that's not where I know I can put my skill set to use to help someone else. That's not where that lies, and that lies in property. Why? Because property, always say this, and it sounds so cheesy, and I don't know why I still say it, but it's so true. P stands for people. Like, as soon as I knew, but property was literally, you're having conversations with people, you're building relationships, long lasting, you're vibing, I guess, with people from literally whatever background over a common denominator through flipping bricks and mortar. I just think that's incredible. And the amount of scope that you can do is just insane. The biggest thing for me, and the reason why I founded COA Investments in February 2024, I wanted to make an impact on other people's lives. I wanted to positively impact other people's lives with my knowledge, my skill set in sales, property knowledge, in what I knew due diligence wise, in making sure that numbers work and people aren't investing in the wrong thing, but actually the right thing. And even if that takes more time and more patience to make sure that they're getting the right deal and their money is properly going to work for them, that's what I signed up for, and that's why I'm here today, to make a real positive impact on your life and to help. We've helped people, like, over the past 4 years alone, my business partner and I collectively have generated £500,000 for our clients in the rent-to-rent strategy. And it's something we're really, really proud of. That's across mini hotels, serviced apartments, HMOs, blocks, and all different areas across the UK, but also abroad as well, in Dubai. For more information, if you want to know more, I will be dropping more videos. And to this day, I'm proud to say we have taken things to that next level now. We are dealing with the hands-off area. So for any investors, which I will mention in my next video, looking for more hands-off, if they don't have the time to put into property themselves but want to grow their money, that's something that we are a bridge for. We help people invest and grow their money in property without having to get a second job, for example. But that's the reason why I'm here today. One thing leads to another, and that whole journey from 18, right from my late teens to early 20s to where I am today at 25, everything stacked up, and I believe that stacked up for helping you, and that's exactly what I founded the company upon. And I welcome you to be a part of that, and I can't wait to get started. So if you just want to have a look at the next video and find out a little bit more about what we do, definitely feel free to do that. However, if you've been looking at my content on social platforms for a little while, maybe you've seen this video and actually maybe it's time to reach out just for a bit more information, or just want to chat, definitely reach out and I would love to meet you. If not, just drop a comment, introduce who you are, what your background, if you're feeling a little bit extra, and I will get back to that. And I can't wait to see you in the next video about hands-off investing. See you soon. Bye.